Good day, everybody, and welcome to Inside SWTOR, the show where gamers gab about pretty much everything. I am Sandy Cindermisha Smith. I am a community manager with fragworld.org and guild leader of Pillars of Ajla. I'm going to turn it over to my co-hosts slash panelists, whatever the term of the week is, and we will start with Mac.
Hi, I'm Mac, also known as Brad Behrens. And that's all I have to say for now.
Hello, Rackstone. I am also Fraser, also known as Passport or FC, and Rackstall.
Lola.
Hi, I am Chris Lolokio Hammond. I am a raid officer with the Pillars of Ashla Guild, and I'm a panelist on the show, of course.
I am Joshua from Smith, and I am a staff writer for SWTORlife.com.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Our first topic for the night is what planet would you like to see in an expansion? Who wants to kick us off?
Can I only have one planet? Can I pick multiple planets? Because I got multiple planets. I'd
Go
like
for it.
I'd like to go to Ryloth, the Twilight homeworld. I think that would be great, not just because it's kind of, I mean, they're just an iconic Star Wars species, but I think you can do some really interesting quest lines there because slavery is kind of an accepted thing that goes on Ryloth. So I could see very easy you could have your light side players going and trying to save the slaves, and anybody who's dark side would be like, ooh, selling people for credits. All right. And so I just think you could do some interesting things there. Also, I think Kashyyyk is obviously probably going to come up in an expansion at some point. It's hard not to go there because everyone loves Wookiees. I'd also like to see that living world. I don't know how to pronounce the name, so I'm going to try. Start with a Z. It's in the Yuuzhan Vong series of the New Jedi Order. Go look it up, people, because I don't want to butcher the name. They make like living starships, and just the planet itself is kind of has a consciousness, and it's very cool. I would love to go there. I think it'd be some great quest lines.
A living planet sounds really cool. I have to admit, I know absolutely nothing about it. I would go with the probably the obvious answer, which is Kashyyyk, because I like Wookiees and because it's pretty. I don't sound like a girl or anything. Next.
I'm going with the forest moon of Endor from Return of the Jedi because I like forests and Ewoks are cool.
You know, I want to like leap through the computer and stab you with a lightsaber just for suggesting that.
Me first.
Possibly going to Endor. Nobody likes teddy bears.
Teddy Ruxpin with spears. Pop a tape in and run.
That means I can't suggest the Gungan planet? No, I was going to suggest Yavin 4. I was going to Naboo, yeah. But no, I was going to suggest Yavin 4 because it's so rich in history, like, you know, it's in a lot of the EU and stuff like that, man. Yeah, I think it would be a cool planet to investigate. You can imagine all the quests that you can go to, and yeah, I think it would be a fun planet.
They could really tie in XR Kun there too, which is a big pullback to the, you know, some of the comics and some of the later stuff that happened in the EU. He's just cool. He's just a cool planet. Yeah, you go there. Another
Plus
jungle planet.
There's already tons of references for XR Kun and tie-ins with the comics in the original KOTOR game, so that would definitely be a logical place to go. I thought it was interesting you picked Ryloth because that touches on another issue that I have with the game, the whole day-night cycle thing. And as far as I know, Ryloth is one half the planet's day, one half is night at all times. So I've always thought Ryloth would be kind of interesting to go just for that feature. But the slavery aspect's cool too. I mean, that's already something that's touched on as early as Coruscant on the Republic side, and of course all the time on the Empire side is the idea of slavery, and it really ties into Star Wars. I think I would probably go with Ethor, probably slaughtering the pronunciation of that, but that's another one from the. I don't know if it's proper with the timeline, but it's from the Yuuzhan Vong War. Slaughtering pronunciation, something right.
It comes before that, though. Mostly in just the space stations, because if people don't know about the planet Ethor, it's where the Ethorians, which are like the big slug-looking people, come from, and they really worship their planet as kind of a species, big, ecosystem thing. So people aren't really allowed to land on it. So they've got a bunch of space stations above where they just kind of monitor the planet. So if you maybe like started out there and then went down to the planet at some point, like tied both of them in, I think that'd be very cool.
Big slug-looking people is a technical term.
It is. Look it up. Dictionary that.
Matt, how about you?
Bespin.
That's a good choice. Definitely Cloud City.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is first pimp and all that.
It'd be really small though. I mean, Bespin's just a city. It's not really a planet. Not saying it couldn't be done. I'm just saying.
Right, but there's a lot you can do with it. You could theoretically expand on the ships.
Well, at the end of the day, how different would Bespin really be from Coruscant or Nar Shaddaa? I think that's, to me personally, playing through Star Wars, The Old Republic, those are probably two of my least favorite planets for the background of it. Like, Coruscant could be so amazing. I mean, it's an entire city planet. And it sort of falls flat for me, And I think Nar Shaddaa does the same thing. So I think Bespin is sort of like the podunk version of that, but with prettier clouds.
Yeah, but you could run into that with any sort of planets that are being added now because they in the main quest line, especially if you play on both sides, you really hit a lot of the major archetypes of the planets. You've got a desert planet, you've got planets with ruins on it, you've got a city planet, you've got a jungle planet, you've got forest areas and stuff like that. So you already are kind of hitting everything. There's already going to be some overlap. One that I don't think will be added because it's kind of just a carbon copy of Nar Shaddaa is Zeltros, which is the Zeltron homeworld, which is just in a giant party pretty much the entire time you're there, which would be really cool, but it'd just be another Nar Shaddaa thing. You could say the same thing with Ryloth being a combination of some of like the Tatooine / Korriban area where it's very rocky and dry and stuff like that. So crossover is going to be unavoidable. I don't necessarily like Bespin a lot myself, but I think they could do some cool stuff with it. So.
And one thing they could do with Bespin is, like they did with Corellia, is make it like different islands or different factories or whatever, so you can jump from one to the other. That'll make it bigger.
It's true.
Corellia is an awesome planet. I really wish there was more to do there instead of just like the one sort of roped off section with Black Hole that they have with 1.2. The other thing that I'm kind of disappointed, like while we're on the topic of adding planets, is I had the idea, and I don't know if you guys were like this, when 1.2 was coming out, they're like, hey, a new planet, Denova, and we get a new warzone, a new raid that are based in Denova, but no actual exploration, no actual like planet you can go to on your galaxy map and quest there.
Yeah, I've been thinking exactly the same thing. It's like, what? The planet? Where's my planet?
Could be added on later.
It's possible.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. Like they actually add a planet to it or something like that. I think there needs to be more alternate paths in the game. Like there is one set in stone leveling path in the game right now. There should be options. If they're adding planets, that's what they need to do is go back and plug them in at the different level tiers instead of just adding on new content just for endgame. I mean, I love endgame content, don't get me wrong. Shiny content is shiny, but there should be different ways to get to 50 other than just this one set path.
Well, I disagree because there are several paths. Like you can do PvP just all the way to 50. You can do space missions and flash points all the way to 50. So I don't think there is just one path. But if you want to do a class pass, you have to visit each one, yes. But other than that.
But if you want to level up by seeing the planets, which is what I believe Loki is trying to allude to here, is that if you're at this level, if you want to gain a decent amount of experience, you're going to this planet. You got one choice. And I think it would be hard for them to mix that up just because of the way the story aspect is set up. If the story set up, you're seeing these things as they move on. That's why they get like, oh, okay, here's the next 3 groups of planets you're going to go to get this little chunk of the story. I think if you start mixing that up too much, that aspect of it would be really difficult. However, if they found a way to pull it off, that'd be freaking awesome. Because I would love to hop around more and not have to always be like, oh, Terrace, it's the 3rd planet. I'm just tired of you. I'll just come to you later. Not at all. Because you suck.
I like Terrace. I like Grackles. I think I'm the only one who likes Terrace. I've played through it 3 times now.
I've
completely.
played through it 6.
Okay, you win.
I don't have a problem with
you
it.
win.
Of course, I also played through friggin' the original KOTOR like 6 times or 12 times or something like that.
I lost track of how many times I played that game. I enjoy Terrace on that game much more than this game because at least they give me something else to do. But you ever notice when you're on Terrace that every single bonus series mission is kill this number of rat ghouls? Because that's the only enemy on the planet.
That's all that's left.
But it never gets old. It's killing Star Wars zombies. Come on.
No, they also have the cat, the Neku cats.
Shut up, Bhaskar. There's only raccoons.
Neku cats, yeah. They've got big Thundercat things that you let out. I get to play PETA for one quest, and then I get to go back to hunting zombies. Woody Harrelson style. And for the record, I am not leveling to 50 on a spaceship. Forget that. No,
Yeah, they would
forget
definitely
it.
need to change space combat the way it is now to make that a viable leveling path. It's awesome when you first get your ship. Boom, here's like free, 2 levels or so, depending on what level you get your ship at. Here's some free credits, and you can come back to it as a mini game. But it is definitely not a viable leveling path. And I know some people out there who PvP to 50, but it's still not. You're not going to get the same experience as if you do your class quest. And at endgame, to do dailies, you have to have your class quest completed. So to say you can get to 50, yes, you can. Can you play the game fully without doing those class storylines? No, you can't.
Well, apart from, no, I don't think anybody has suggested that you can play the game without doing your class line, but as far as I understand it, in 1.3, you will have the option. I don't know if you have to buy something or unlock something or what it is, but you can get an experience bonus for whichever path you want to level. Like I said, I'm not sure about the timing on that or the actual mechanics, but as I understand it,
It's on the legacy page under coming soon for the 1.3, and yes, you have your PvP, you have your flashpoint, and then you have, I think, your regular quests. There's the 3 different options that you have, and there's, I think, 3 tiers.
I knew Mac would be all over that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, because that's what I'm all about right there.
And it's character specific too, so that's
Yes,
nifty.
that's the other thing. Is each character specific, like the speeders at level 10, or the super fast sprint.
Well, it kind of makes sense though, because if you unlock it on your legacy, I mean that would be kind of useless for any character that's past that point, that's past the leveling game.
You mean 50?
I think they would be more worried about you buy all of them, and then on every character you make, you're getting an experience boost for every single thing that you're doing, no matter what. And you would it's already way too easy to get to level 50.
It's a money sink. It's a credit sink. That's what it is. A spade's a spade, all right? It's a credit sink, and that's what I'm just gonna. That's my blanket. Of course, it's a credit sink. Everything. I of course am gonna call it a credit sink.
The entire legacy system right now is a credit sink. Although, at least they're trying to make it useful. I mean, right now, like the most expensive thing is a 5 million credit Galactic Trade Network post on your ship, which is pretty much worthless because it's the Nar Shaddaa neutral one. But at least they're going to consolidate and make it useful someday.
Well, no, I mean, they've already said that they're going to make all the auction.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All the GTN, excuse me, let me use the correct vernacular. The GTN is going to be all one. That there's no more of this, Republic and Empire and neutral. It's all just going to be under the Hutt's control or whatever.
if we bring Ewoks or Gungans into the game, I'm gonna go like storming with a pitchfork or something. None of that.
You're gonna occupy Bioware?
And everybody who suggested it.
Nice.
I'll be in a million places at once. Actually, I doubt that a
You
million
know what?
people.
Fine.
have
I want
suggested
Solistance. All right. That's what I want. No, that's not true. I'm just pulling that. I
So-
want Wookiees.
Moving to a very important topic, is it Twi'lek or Twi'lek? Discuss.
Both pronunciations are correct.
Twi'lek.
How can you have 2 pronunciations that are correct?
Have
Tomato,
you-
tomato.
Have you lived on Earth?
Potato, tomato.
Yeah.
Tomato, tomato.
Caribbean.
Tomato.
Do you speak the English language?
I can
Because
count
we've
the
got
tomato.
about a million different instances of that.
You mean accents?
No, I'm not talking about accents. I'm talking about different pronunciations of the same word depending on what region of the country or world or whatever.
Which would be an accent?
I'm not saying that.
Cite your source.
You know
Give me an
what?
example.
All I know is don't say reticule. because you'll be ridiculed for it.
anger the snowplow.
A reticule is a woman's handbag.
Say that again?
A reticule is a woman's handbag. It's reticle. It doesn't have the U.
Radical?
Is it like nuclear? I can't even pronounce it the wrong way.
Did you say
Nuclear.
radical? It's a funny way of saying radical. Radical. Reticulal.
Reticular.
Reticular. It's spherical.
Sounds like I'm going to have to retake a class.
I've always been out to Twilight because of the I and the E, and yeah.
Yeah, that's the same way I do. But from technically, either way you say it is fine. People are going to argue one way or the other, but either way it's fine.
I like to be like.
George Lucas has said it both ways in interviews, and if you're looking at him as the end-all, be-all of what is and is correct in Star Wars, then that means Marvel correct. So there you go.
And on that note,
You're going to make me
moving
bring up
on.
the prequels? You're going to make me bring up the prequels.
Okay, moving on. Really, really. So we talked about. I know that we don't want to go there. We talked about what planets we would like to see. How about what races would you like to see?
Zeltron. I want
Voltron.
to be a Zeltron smuggler. Zeltron, you may not know, they're not really in the movies. They're just from the extended universe. They are sexy red people with blue or red hair, and they're just can use pheromones to seduce people. I just think they would just make a bitchin' smuggler.
So it's like a chiss with a
Oh, Imperial.
sunburn?
Kinda.
They make a good Imperial agent too, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose, but I just see Zeltron being more Republic-esque, although I think they would work fine on both. There also would be a great way to give, if, let's say, for example, you went by what I think and think they should probably just be Republic only until you've unlocked them with Legacy, it would give Republic characters a chance to be somebody red before having to unlock the Legacy thing, because who doesn't like the color red? It's awesome.
I like blue.
I'm more of a blue person.
Yeah, I'm
Well-
blue too.
Well, then we should also be able to play as what is it, the Shargrins, Shargarin. You know, they're the blue,
Chacarone?
something like that. They're the blue species, and they got the head tails coming up and down, and they got little spikes.
Those
That
guys.
one
Zabrak?
bureaucrat, that one bureaucrat guy from the prequels. Is
Oh, yeah.
one.
They got like the horns, but it's like connected to their tentacles.
Yep.
Coming down this way. Yeah.
Rusk, Sergeant
Yeah,
Rusk.
Sergeant Russ.
Torgrota.
That's one.
Yeah, Togruta is a nice school.
Togrota.
Well, as far as playable classes go, the only one I would want to see is like the boss. And as far as I know, they're only by like Pacific. But yeah, I like that planet and I like the people, and that'd be an interesting storyline, I think.
Hate that planet.
Boss would be cool. I just think it would be difficult to use the boss and make it make sense as to why you can be them, and like either being a Jedi or smuggler or trooper or Sith or Imperial agent or bounty hunter or whatever, because they're all kind of localized on that one planet and never really leave. So I think it would be difficult to make the argument for how you can play them throughout the entire story. Not that I think that should necessarily stand in the way, because I think the boss are really cool. I just don't think it will happen because of that.
So the only thing I can think of is that there will be Greyside. A legitimate Greyside, like only class race or whatever.
I just don't think I don't think they're going to add another faction just for the race.
Well, no,
No.
not faction. They could probably be both factions, or not faction specific. But yeah, like I'm pretty sure they could do it and do it well. But
I just disagree completely. That just flies in the face of everything that you learn about the boss when you're on their planet.
I think for that to happen, there would have to be some serious upset on Voss, which there kind of is. I mean, if you follow the storyline, and I don't want to give any spoilers away, but we do see some of the Voss start to break away and pick sides in this conflict. All right, so you're already starting to see some radical individuals go that route. So it's not too far to say that you could have one of them become a player character. But I think what Fastcar's talking about, the idea of making them a neutral, morality, that sort of flies in the face of a few things, because they've said that, one, they don't want your faction to dictate your morality. I mean, you can have a good light side Sith warrior, you can have a bad Jedi Knight. Those are the two obvious canon opposite extremes. So to say that a race would be locked to morality, that's kind of stretching it. I mean, you don't even see that on Voss. I really like Voss. I like the storyline behind it. I think it's a really cool planet. But you're not going to see, if they make it a player character, you're not going to see morality lockdowns based on race. That would just be silly.
Well, when I said Greyside, I didn't mean to make it like a high priority. I was just saying they could, for role players, could have fun with it or stuff like that. I didn't mean to make it like a major point.
Well, I think they need to make the gray side, a viable option right now, because I think it's kind of silly. You have a light side vendors, you have dark side vendors. That's an entirely different ball of wax as to whether gray side is viable at some point. Because right now it's there for RP and it's there like you'll take and pick on your conversation choices, but there's really no reward for it. There's no incentive to say, hey, I'm neutral. I'm the gray Jedi. I'm Jolie.
You don't have to be just Jedi to be gray either. You could be. It's neutral technically. It's not technically. I mean, yeah, you could say Jedi is gray, but for your smugglers and your troopers, you could say neutral. Smuggler, definitely. That's how I'm playing it. Even though he's more light side. He does like to practice making babies an awful lot.
Yeah, he does.
Planets and all that.
As far as I understand it, they're going to be putting in a neutral alignment. It's just a matter, I think, of figuring out how to do it. I also think the Voss would be exceptionally cool to play, and I think story-wise they could pull it off. I mean, it's BioWare. And if I didn't have to look like Eric Jorgen, I would like to play the kitty people, but I wouldn't want to have to look like him. I don't.
I think Cathar is definitely a species they need to put in there, especially since a lot of people who played this game are also big fans of KOTOR, and I don't know about anyone else, but Juhani is one of my favorite squad people.
I love killing her off.
Well, then you're just a douchebag.
I like listening to her talk. I get myself a nice bottle of Bacardi and some candles, and then I just loop the conversations over and over. No, I'm just kidding.
Also,
right.
First homosexual in the Star Wars universe, Juhani, because she liked the Lady Revan. Not a big fan of the male Revan.
Who doesn't like the Lady Levin?
Well,
I mean, come on.
Who doesn't?
Anyway.
Does your feminist manifesto bring all the girls to the yard? Stomping in boots.
Nice.
Working at the Greenpeace co-op. I'm just going to keep going. Start talking.
Does anybody else have anything to add about races before you move on to actually a...
Gormak is my counterpoint to Fastcart's Voss. I personally can't stand the Voss simply because they're monotone and it doesn't sound like the voices are all kind of the same and they're all kind of blindly led. It's more like a religion to me than it is an actual faction. It bugs me. I get off that planet as fast as I can. But the Gormak, they don't say nothing. You don't get their side of anything. That I want to see.
Because they're bad people.
Define bad. Every side of conflict, you're going to have people that think they're right on either side. And you get one side of the story doesn't necessarily make that the correct side. Doesn't mean that either side isn't just as bad as the other one.
Look, if you want to start a philosophical, moral debate, we could do that on some other time. But right now, as far as this game concerns, they're the bad people because they don't have any sort of advantage to offer. Either the Sith or the Jedi, so they suck and we kill them.
Not to mention, BioWare has come straight out and said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to avoid this entire moral quandary." And because you could say like Rebels and the old movies were terrorists. You could say they were the bad guys from a certain perspective, but they were just avoiding it completely. They're like, "Look, the Emperor is a bad guy. Okay, the Empire for the most part stands for bad things in the Old Republic. All right, so you can have your own little personal stories and you can have your own personal morality, but this is the way it is. This is light and dark. That's all there is to it." And before we get off races, I'm just going to say Rhodians. I want to shoot Greedo or have Greedo shoot people.
Rhodian's possible, but I just don't think that's really going to happen because most Rhodians don't speak Basic. Well, also under the same thing, you are never going to be able to play as Wookiees. Whoever is out there, because I know there's still people out there who still want to play as Wookiees, you are never, ever going to be able to have a Wookiee character in this game, ever. Stop whining about it.
That's why we have him.
That's why you have
You're as close as we're going to get.
Exactly. Glorious. Yes.
Snowplow on his chin.
But as far as Rhodian, the problem I see with them is that they can't shoot first.
Oh, you got to it before I could.
I have to laugh at the lameness of that joke. Excellent. Well done.
Well, you got one other thing, though, with Rhodians that would be awesome. I mean, going back to smugglers and all the romancy options you could get, could you imagine just the make-out takeaway cutscene with the Rhodian snout? That would be awesome. That's totally Star Wars loving right there. Come on.
I can imagine how that would be big money in California. Right? That's a whole new genre. We're not getting into that.
We're not going there.
Right?
Not going there.
Starts with Monster.
So now that we've discussed some really, really heavy, important topics, what do y'all think about the augment tables that are going to be in 1.3?
I don't mind silicone breasts.
Wow, how long have we been waiting to say that one?
Like 2 weeks. It's written down somewhere, I think.
I'm glad that they added it so you have another way to get augments outside of just critting. I also am glad that they did not take away the ability to gain it by critting on reverse engineer, or I'm sorry, when you're crafting something, because that would have been kind of lame. Cool. The fact that anything that they're doing that makes it so I don't have to wear that stupid white dress as a consular anymore I'm all for that. So, yay, augment slots.
It's a tunic.
It's stupid.
It's a tunic.
It's ugly.
Tunic.
Whoever decided to make low-level clothing look cool on consulars and then the end-level clothing look incredibly ridiculous.
Like a can opener?
Needs to get smacked in the side of their face.
My helmet looks like a can opener. I'm not going in there. You guys heal yourself. Forget it. Here's some Powerade. Go.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing with the whole augment tables being added at 1.3, and also the fact that they're adding even more schematic options. It's just giving you more options, right, first and foremost. And secondly, if you found that one piece of gear from a Flashpoint 30 levels ago that you really liked, you can go back and augment it. And it could be viable endgame gear if you rip mods out. And I'm glad that they're reducing the cost on a little bit on extracting mods, but it seems like overall the costs are going to either even out or be even more expensive now 1.3 to augment a piece of gear. Like to augment a piece of gear with the level 50 augment slot is going to be pretty pricey, and it's going to require raid mats just to socket that piece of gear. So it's a give and take. It's nice that we have the customization available.
Crafters are going to they're just going to start making more money on the GTN. I'm curious to see everything that's going to happen there with the price changes and all that stuff. Although that's really Fast Card serious. Let him talk about the GTN.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, sure, I think they're going to make a lot of money selling the materials in order to make the augment than they do now. But, I don't really have much to say on that. I just want to wait and see how they really implement it, because they say all this stuff in the dev blogs and dev posts and stuff like that, but until they really implement it, I'm in the wait and see mode.
No, I put you on the spot. You will give me a definite answer right now, sir.
42.
It'll be good.
I'm waiting.
42 is the answer to everything.
42.
What is the question?
Doesn't matter.
Thanks for all the fish. Move on.
Just to add to what other people have said, I'm going to once again say something completely useless and say, I'm glad there will be finally a use for the modification stations.
That is true. I give you that one.
You know what? I hunt those to this day. I still hunt those down. I will take the extra 10 minutes to go find one just so I can say I used it. I don't like useless things. To stop shaking your head. I have good. I can see you.
I'm glad you can see me. I'm now trying to hide myself.
Darn.
An intentional head shake, like you were just.
Ridiculous? Yeah. I believe the word you're looking for is ridiculous.
I don't think ridiculous is a ridiculous enough word.
No. Ridiculi. Pronounce that.
But yeah, after the first level 10 or level 9 or whenever you get your customizable weapon, you got to click on that row object in order to get the enhancement, and that's right beside the thing. So other than that, that's the only time you ever try to want to see it in game almost.
Just get the codex and the experience, and then that's it.
Do you think that they added the augment things on the table just so they could, we needed an excuse for why we never took these out of the game yet? Oh, hey, well, you have to go there and do your augment stuff. Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm just waiting for the day when I can type in, hey, I just crit my pants. That's all I want. I will die happy. Guess what? I crit my pants, and I augmented it.
You don't want to crit your chest?
No, I don't want. I know. Do I look German?
little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, well, that would be true. That would be true, yes. Let's not go there either.
Too late.
Anybody have any closing comments, topics, etc., etc.?
My fly's open. I just found that out.
Good
You
thing
mean
you
you're
didn't
wearing
stand up.
pants?
I am, yes. Just for this episode specifically.
Getting all professional on us. How dare you?
I know.
Show
That's
off.
a horrible mistake on my part, and I swear it'll never happen again.
Better not. I don't know. The thing I'm probably most concerned with right now with Star Wars is just get on the ball, guys. Come on. It's there. You have a great game. Deliver on some of the things you're talking about. That's it. That's all I want. Ranked war zones, maybe. That would be great. Sound bug fixes, awesome. Actual single player progression at endgame, like we talked about, like Voss was supposed to be. That'd be cool.
You're not going to mention the group finder?
No, I don't care about the group finder. It's not a big issue to me. It really
Ready
isn't.
checks?
Well, okay, ready checks. Yeah.
That's what Vent's for. Excuse me, mumble.
Whatever.
Yeah, I would like a ready check and a better way to target. That's what I would like.
Oh, you don't click?
I do. The thing is that on some of the mobs, the hitbox is so huge that you can think you're clicking on something else and you're still clicking on the same dude. And it's really, especially where you have to, like the Toth and Zorn fight. I almost
Yeah.
cut, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that can bouncing back and forth as a tank. That can get pretty hinky when the boss is like right in front of your face. Essentially, you're looking at boss crotch and you're trying to click on the other guy, and it's like not happening. So you can focus one, but focus is kind of clunky still. So trying to hop back and forth, it's just I don't know. I'd like to have like just a /tar command or something. They could
I
go
think
along
the
with
term
feathers.
boss crotch is going to start coming up a lot more in my conversations now. This is great.
I like
I've
how
got
she said
boss crotch.
it's clunky boss crotch.
It
And
is.
I'm focusing on it.
Clunky boss crotch right in your face.
Like,
I
can see
can't
how that-
entire screen.
What the? He didn't tip.
I have to
Oh.
give credit to our editor for that term, the boss crotch. I didn't come up with that one.
That's what the regular nut kick is for, right?
Except it doesn't always work on boss crotch. It's just
But it
too
does work on
bossy.
robots.
Oh, you can still kick them. It may just not stun them. You'll still get like that, a few hundred points of damage.
Yeah,
And
totally
of course,
worth it.
before they put in the fix for the nut kick, the workaround was the flying nut kick. So flying nut kick to the boss crotch, that is a one-hit KO.
I don't think they can implement that because that'll be like a Star Trek trademark for James Kirk or whatever.
The flying nut kick.
Yep.
That's a Chuck Norris thing. You wouldn't understand. It's because he's white. I had an intelligent closing comment, and I decided just to throw that right out the window. And yes, my fly is still open. It's crafty.
God, stop playing with yourself.
I'm not.
It's
Good
Yes.
reference. Good reference.
all that boss crotch.
Family show. Yeah, that's what it is. See, the camera's not shaking yet.
Okay, so comment. I just wanted to say I hope you all gave a special gift or hello and thank you for the mother in your life. And I just want to wish my Uncle Henry's Godspeed. He passed away this week.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry, FC.
No problem.
Double guilt trip for the win.
Well, we had beginning of life last week, and you got to balance. That's
Yeah.
what Star Wars is all about, the balance, right?
That was a short fucking life, man. Birth and death in a week.
Right? I make soap.
If anybody is out there on the Geo server and you see a character by the name of Sarah Bear, you whisper her, name your twins Luke and Leia. It's going to happen. We just need to get some movement behind this. It's going to happen.
What was there There was some crazy name that if they got 1 million likes on Facebook, they were going to name their baby that. Something
Zelda?
Duan and Dadawan.
I've seen so many of those. Optimus
Really?
Prime, Megatron.
Jeff,
That's the one I was thinking of. Was
Colonel
Megatron.
Hawk, Mike Hunt, Hunt. I said Hunt.
Oh, okay.
Don't twist it.
Definitely do not twist them.
That's what I'm for.
You guys are in the gutter.
I got a
And
hammock.
this is new. Why?
I got a hammock. Welcome
actually
to the
own-
after show. We're just going to segue right into it. So you might want to get
Sweet.
out your butt donuts and your tissues now because once you start crying. Way to go with the closing comments.
And on that note, I think we will wrap up for this week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I hope you had fun, and we look forward to seeing you next week on Inside SWTOR.